Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get straight into today's video. So I first off want to say that I hope you guys are doing so well. I did take a tiny bit of a break. I feel like I need to do this like maybe once a month so that I can recover and fully come back to myself, because I really do enjoy making videos for you guys, and burnout is so common and so easy to get, and I want to make sure that I have the energy and the willpower to keep doing this for you guys. So I might start taking like the first week of a new month off, just chilling and recuperating and stuff like that. So yeah, I really do hope that while I was gone, you guys have been taking care of yourselves and doing very well, or as best as you can right now. As for today, because I haven't really filmed or done my nails at all within the past week or so, I kind of just want to do something super simple and take it slow, and we can just chill out and hang out together. So yes, let me go ahead and stop talking and let's go ahead and get into it. So here is what my nails are looking like, y'all. Super gross and disgusting, crusty, and just not okay. Do y'all remember in my last video when I said I was planning on growing my nails out? I have been thinking I kind of want to try and grow out my nails. Yeah, that did not happen, clearly. So that did kind of make me a little sad that I couldn't grow my nails out because my middle finger and my thumb wanted to ruin things. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and kick this off with a little bit of nail prep. So as always, I'm gonna start off by pushing back my cuticles using my cuticle pusher. And y'all, I don't know if you guys can see my cuticles, but they are screaming at me to do them. And I wanted to wait until I filmed because I haven't done, or at least I don't know, I can't remember the last time I've shown you guys the entire process of the prepping stage. So I felt like it would be appropriate to wait until they got super gross and disgusting. And also, I just think it's a lot healthier for my nails to not groom them so often. All right, so my cuticles are nice and pushed back. So a little while back, I actually got this tiny little bit here, and I do believe that this is called the cuticle clean bit. And I'm super excited to try it because I've been seeing every nail tech use this. And apparently it's supposed to lift up the cuticles and that extra dead skin without filing into the nails. And I was like, you know what? I kind of want to try that. So I got it and we're going to try it today. Now, I have heard that in order for this to work, you need to use it at about 10,000 RPMs, which is kind of crazy, not going to lie. But if that is the speed I have to use it at, then we're just going to try it. Okay, so this is 10,000 RPMs going, and I'm going to start out on my index finger, and let's see how this works. Okay, let's dust it off to see exactly what this did. You know what? That's not bad. My cuticles are definitely lifted and it didn't file into my nails at all. It was actually very comfortable and there was no burning or anything or heat spikes, and my cuticle area is nice and clean. So I don't know, that was kind of good. I think I might actually start using this. Let me go ahead and do the same thing to the rest of my nails. So the next thing to do is to go ahead and start clipping my cuticle area. And I will only be focusing on getting rid of the white and sort of dry and flaky areas. All right, and since my nails decided to betray me and start breaking, I'm gonna go ahead and cut them nice and even using my straight edge nail clippers. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and file them nice and smooth. Okay, so I don't do this often, but the last thing I'm gonna do is take my fine grit sanding band just to kind of smooth out the cuticle area and get rid of like any like leftover product that may be stuck that I couldn't reach. And I'm using this on the lowest speed, which is 3000 RPMs. Okay, so the nails are prepped and now I'm gonna go ahead and put on my matte peel off base coat. And just for anyone who may not know, that is top coat and a little bit of cuticle oil. All right, so I went ahead and applied my matte peel off base coat, and I also went ahead and sized out my nail tips for today. So as you can see, we are gonna be doing some GelX nail tips today. And you guys, look at what I got. I finally got the nail glue for my GelX nail tips. So for everyone who was cloning me for using blooming gel, I finally got what I need, okay? No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I believe this is the stuff that you use to actually like cure on these nail tips. And for anyone who doesn't know, I was using blooming gel at one point because it's kind of thick and it was easy to pretend that it was this stuff. But I finally got the right product, so we're gonna be putting this to the test today. But before we go ahead and glue these on, I'm gonna be like filing the inside of the tip with this little cuticle bit here. And I'm using this one specifically because it's nice and thin, and I definitely do need something thin, especially for my pinky nail. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this bit and just file the inside of the nail only to probably where my nail stops. So probably only about this much on the actual nail tip. And this is just going to help it stick a little bit better because you do need a little bit of friction for this to work. All right, so now we are ready to go ahead and jump into this. So I'm gonna start off on my index finger. And before I do anything, I'm just going to remove that excess dust. Now what I'm gonna do first is put a little bit of this nail glue into the wall of the nail tip. And I'm only gonna be covering the areas that I filed. And I don't wanna put too much because I don't want it to flood too much by my cuticle area because that seems to be my problem most of the time. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and try this out. So I'm first gonna start off by kind of like tilting it upwards and pressing it downwards. So we're gonna start at the cuticle, make sure that everything is nice and straight, and then I'm going to press this downwards. Okay, I think that looks good. I am gonna go ahead and cure this before I mess it up. Okay, so here is what it is looking like. And I do have a little bit of flooding, but it is definitely a lot better than my first attempt when I did these like a few months ago, I think. I think it was a few months ago at this point. But yes, here is what it is looking like. And I'm gonna go ahead and fix the areas that kind of flooded once I get all of these nail tips on. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these tips on my nails. So again, I'm first getting rid of any of that like excess dust. And then I'm going to put some of this nail glue into the well of the nail tip, and I'm only going to be covering the areas that I filed with my hand drill. So first I'm going to tilt the nail tip upwards and place it at the cuticle area. And then I'm going to go ahead and press it all the way downwards. And once everything's nice and flat, I'm gonna go ahead and cure. Okay, so I can't tell if I'm getting better or not, but it's on there. So we're just gonna move on. Now, one thing that I will mention is that because the base of these nails are so square, it does feel kind of uncomfortable, like just in the slightest. So do be mindful of that. If you feel like you need to, definitely try to file the cuticle area of the nail tips to make it a little bit more round if you have to. Because I have no idea why they're so square. Like, I don't know whose cuticles are this square, but it's just a little bit unnecessary. So yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to mention just to anyone who's never tried this method before with these kinds of nail tips. All right, so all of the nail tips are applied, and as you can see, by the time I got to my thumb, I definitely started to get the hang of it, which is obviously too late, but we can always go back and fix everything. So the first thing I'm gonna do is start like working on the flooded areas on some of my nails. And for that, I think I'm just gonna go in with this cuticle bit here. So the first time I ever used something around my cuticles for my GelX nail tips, I used a carbide bit or a ceramic bit, I believe, and it was just a little bit too much and I didn't really need to do all that. So I'm just gonna go in with a cuticle bit instead. And before I do anything, I'm just gonna make sure that I got all of the gel off of my cuticles. All right, and now I'm just gonna work this around the cuticle area and get rid of that lifting. Okay, change of plans. I am switching to a ceramic bit because that cuticle bit was just not doing anything. So we're gonna use this instead. Now, before I go ahead and buff these, I'm actually going to cut them into the shape that I'm going to do today. And I'm actually going to be doing some almond nails today. But first, I'm going to cut these down because they are just a little bit too long. I'm probably going to end up cutting them to probably about here. And now I'm going to take my straight edge nail clippers just to cut them into the almond shape. So it's going to look a little something like this. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and file everything nice and smooth using my 80/80 grit nail file. All right, and lastly, I'm gonna go ahead and buff out the nails using my mini buffer. So the shaping is nice and complete, and we are ready to get into this nail art. Now, instead of washing my hands, I'm actually gonna do something that I see like all nail techs do, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. So I got these little brushes, and I kind of want to see like how these get rid of like the excess dust and stuff. Now, normally people like have a spray bottle with alcohol in it, but I don't have that. So I'm just gonna put a little alcohol onto the brush like this. It's a little messy, but it's alcohol, who cares? And I'm just going to swipe it off like this. This just feels so fancy. I don't know what it is about it, but I love doing this. So let's get into this nail art. So today's nail set is inspired by Amy's client, who was inspired by Nails in Your Coffin. And I figured this was a really nice and pretty simple set that I could do just to kind of chill out, you know? But even still, I love it. It's so like ethereal looking and magical and beautiful and luxurious, and I love it. So here is everything that we're gonna need for this nail set. So first, I just have some iridescent chrome powders, and in the reference photo, they are doing blue chrome powder, so I'll probably use this one. However, I do have to be careful because these kind of shift a little bit yellow, which is kind of annoying, but we'll see how that looks. I'm also going to be using some clear rhinestones. Now in the reference photo, they are using some white pearls, but I'm probably going to end up using the clear or the blue ones. And that's mainly just because I don't have white pearls. So if you do have them and you want to use them, definitely feel free to. I'm also going to be using these little seashell decorations. Now this came with, I can't remember what it came with, but it came with something that I bought and I was like, I don't think I'll ever use these. So I was actually thinking of throwing these out, but I'm glad I didn't because I need them for today's video. I'm going to be using this gel polish from Nail Reserve LA, and this is in the color Golden Crown. And I figured it would be nice to incorporate a little bit of glitter in today's nail set. I'm going to be using this as my nude base. We're also going to need some white gel polish. And lastly, we're going to need some top coat and some blooming gel. All right, so that is everything. Let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and I almost forgot, we're going to need some rhinestone glue. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get my mixing plate, of course. And I'm first going to work on this middle finger, and I'm first going to work on this ring finger and create the like marble design. I don't know what it's called, like the blurred out croc print effect. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this white gel polish onto my mixing plate. So to create the croc print effect, I'm going to paint a very thin layer of this blooming gel onto my ring finger. And I'm making sure that this is pretty thin because I don't want it to run too much and start making the nail extra wide. All right, so once I have that blooming gel on, I'm going to take my dotting tool and go into my white gel polish. And I'm just going to start getting this white on there in whatever random pattern I can think of. Okay, so I might start over because it's kind of spreading too much and I feel like I want there to be a little bit more like gaps in between. So yeah, I'm just gonna wipe this off because this isn't really what I wanted. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going in with a single layer of my blooming gel and I'm making sure that this layer is pretty thin. Okay, maybe let's try that one more time. Okay, I think I finally got it to a good point and I did go ahead and cure this, but unfortunately, I have to do the same thing to my thumb. So let me go ahead and do that. So before we do anything else, I'm gonna work on putting on this iridescent chrome powder. So what I'm gonna do is just put a very thin layer of base coat on all of my nails. Now for this layer, you really wanna make sure that everything is nice and thin because we're also gonna go over top of this with some top coat. So you don't want it to be like too bulky. Okay, actually I lied, 1 second. I almost forgot that I wanted to go in with this nude color on the base of all of my nails except for these two. So I'm actually gonna do that instead. And I'm gonna make sure that this layer is super thin. I really just want the glitter from the gel polish. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for a full 30 seconds. Okay, so that part's done now, and now I'm gonna go in with my single layer of base coat, and we're just gonna put this base coat on top of all of the nails. And of course, do make sure that this layer is, again, super, super thin. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this for 30 seconds. All right, so now we're gonna get into this iridescent powder. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of this onto this applicator, and I kind of have to like rub it because it's a little stiff, not gonna lie. And I'm just gonna rub this onto the nails. Oh wow, this is a lot more in your face than I thought it would be. Okay, so when you're doing this, definitely do be careful as to not use too much, because then it's gonna look like this where you can't see any of the background at all. So definitely do be careful, especially on the nails where we use the blooming gel, because you still wanna be able to see the design underneath. So here is what it is looking like. As you can see, like I said, it is kind of shifting a little bit yellow, and I don't know if it bothers me that much because it's just these two fingers that are like super yellow, but I was kind of expecting that anyway, so I don't really care that much. I don't understand why they can't just make ones that aren't super yellow. Like, is it that difficult? Really? Is it that difficult? Okay, so the next step is to focus on, I think I want to do my pointer finger and my pinky because they're basically the same. And the only thing I'm going to do for those nails is glue on these little seashells. Now, first, I'm just going to pick out the ones that I want to use and kind of size them out to see if they're like the right size. So these are the shells that I'm going to be using. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue them on using my rhinestone glue, and I'm going to be gluing these down vertically on the nail. So I think I'm actually going to glue them like on a swirl almost. So they're still going downwards, but they're not exactly straight. And I'm going to take my tweezers and just place them on top of the blooming gel. Okay, so I think that's really all that I want to do for this nail. I'm going to go ahead and flash cure this, and I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing to my pinky nail. Oh my god, this is so messy. My desk looks a mess. Good thing you can't see that. Okay, so I think I'm also going to add some of these pearls to my pointer finger and my pinky. This is kind of a last minute thing, so yeah. And I'm going to go in with some more rhinestone glue and just kind of place it very close to the shell pieces. And I'm just going to place them where I put the rhinestone glue. I do wish that these had like more of a variety of sizes, but these are like basically all the same size. And the smallest ones are super tiny. So I'm kind of trying to make it look more randomized so that it doesn't look so strange. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this. All right, so now I'm gonna work on this middle finger, and this one's gonna have like the seashell effect. So I'm gonna put a little bit of my rhinestone glue onto my mixing plate, and I'm gonna be using my short liner brush for this. So I'm just gonna make sure to get this rhinestone glue fully onto my nail. And I really want there to be a good amount on the brush. And I'm just going to start in the center, and we're gonna kind of let it bead up at the end. And then I'm going to drag this upwards like that. And I might have to go back and like perfect this a little bit because I'm really not good at this. And I'm also gonna go on the sides and do the same thing, dragging all of that towards the center of the nail. Okay, so this is the first layer. I'm gonna go ahead and cure this. And after the first layer is cured, I'm gonna go in with a second layer to help build up that thickness, because once we go in with our top coat, it's gonna kind of dull out, and I want this area to be like super defined. So the last thing I'm gonna do for this nail is add a few of those pearls towards the center of this area. And again, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of rhinestone glue to attach these. Now there was a nail set that I did not too long ago where I did the exact same nail on the exact same finger. So if you remember that video, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and cure this. So the last thing we're gonna do is glue on some of these rhinestones as well as these pearls onto my ring finger and my thumb. So I'm just gonna take my rhinestone glue and put this in certain areas where I want these pearls and these rhinestones to go. And this part is kind of random, so you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can kind of follow your own lead. And the last thing I'm gonna do is go over everything with a layer of top coat. Okay, so here is what my nails are looking like, and I really love these nails. So to finish everything off, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of cuticle oil. And that completes today's set. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this one. I really love how this nail set came out. And even though it's not like winter or fall themed, I really think that it was a nice set to kind of get me back in the groove of things. I'm especially happy with how well it turned out with these being GelX nails. If you guys don't know, I am an acrylic girl, and every once in a while I'll try something new, but I'm usually not that great at it. But I definitely do love how these turned out, and hopefully in the future I can get better at doing GelX nails so that I can provide more variety for you guys. Definitely do let me know in the comments what you guys think of this nail set. Would you wear it for the season coming up? I feel like the blue definitely makes it look a little bit more wintry, and I feel like it could definitely work for, you know, seasonal like winter nails. So yeah, definitely do let me know down in the comments what you guys think. But as always, I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and I will see you guys in the next one.